Zeta Global reports earnings on August 5th after market close, which is Tuesday of this week. And I'm going to tell you today on why I'm extremely bullish on Zeta Global. As you guys have seen, these earnings have been insane, and one of the common themes within a lot of these advertisers are that advertising spend is going up. So we've seen Google, we've seen Meta, we've seen Amazon report. We've also seen companies like Roku, where they're the number one connected TV advertiser in the world. They are all reporting some incredible advertising revenues. And so part of Zeta's earnings and their revenues is comprised of volume-based utilization fees, which means when Zeta has customers and their customers report or use their platform, they actually are getting a fee based on the volume that they use. So when these advertisers are getting money from their customers, so is Zeta. And so there's a correlation, I believe, between some of the ad spend that you're seeing out in the market. And this reason, alone, I feel like Zeta is going to have an incredible quarter. So let's hop in. I actually wanted to show you as well that let's take a look at this. Zeta Global reports their 15th straight beat and raise quarter. This was from Q1 of 2025. Here we are and a couple days away from Q2. Now, do you think when you're seeing all this advertisement spend, which I'm going to get into here in a minute, do you think that if all these advertisers are growing on their ads, why would Zeta not also be growing on their ad cloud, like their marketing tech cloud? I don't quite think that that's possible. So I do not think that they will have a stoppage here where their 16th quarter in a row will also be a beat and raise. And so let's hop in. Google, their ads up 13% year over year on YouTube ads here in this dark gray. We have Google search up 12% year over year. We have Meta. They're not only as their ARPU expanding within ads, but they're also ad impression delivery year over year percentage rate is increasing worldwide and throughout Europe and everything like that. So we have Amazon reporting as well. Amazon services. Advertising services, not Amazon Web Services. Their advertising services are up 22%, which you can see from the previous quarters. That's actually a reacceleration there, and that's awesome to see. Roku, which is the number one CTV, which is one of their big channels, is also up, and they mentioned the increase in their revenue, which was 18% year over year, was primarily due to higher advertising revenue despite continued weakness in the media and entertainment vertical. So even though their TV sections are down, their advertising's up. And so I really love that, guys. I'm going to get into some of their KPIs and what I'm actually looking into for this earnings. So their KPIs, one of the big things they talk about is ARPU. So I did share in my latest video, we had a video of David Steinberg, their CEO, talking about forget TAM. He said, forget TAM, which is something you never hear. Everyone's like, what's your total addressable market? And he said, forget TAM. We have so many customers and our net retention rate is 114%. So when you have a net retention rate above 100%, it means your customers that you have today are expanding. The ones that you already have, not the ones you're getting, but the ones that you've already had, they're continuing to spend more within your platform. So for software companies, net retention rate is a great metric to take a look at. And they mention that here. That's also known as average revenue per unit and a different metric. That's showing that on average, how much are the customers spending. So their scaled customers are increasing, which I'd rather just show you the actual slide deck here. We have, they're accelerating their year over year scaled customer count expansion, which means their customers above 100,000 up to 1 million. They're growing, as you see here. They're at 389 today. Last quarter, quarter one of 2024, they're only at 316. So year over year, incredible growth there. But also, they're growing their super scale customers as well, where they're gaining for customers spending over 1 million. They're also gaining there, of course. And then they're also seeing this ARPU expansion. So the year over year, we have a 12% growth, and they're expecting that to continue out throughout 2025 at a 12 to 16% CAGR, where their customers they have today, they're actually going to be spending more within the platform, which is great to see. This is a great slide as well. The longer our customers stay with us, the bigger they become. So this, like I said, I love to see this. You want to continue to see this, and that way they can help forecast their revenue growth throughout the next few years. So they can see when customers are within 1 year of the platform, they spend only less than $1 million, but within 1 to 3 years, 1.2 million, and 3+ years, they're spending 2.6 million. This isn't all their customers. This is their scaled customers specifically. So we want to continue to see that ramp, and you're going to continue to see that ramp as long as they have a great product. So ZETA was actually named a leader in Forrester, which is a well-known company out there that does these surveys to see to be able to compare companies. And you can see here, ZETA was actually named as a leader by a wide margin, scoring the highest possible rating in 13 of 22 categories. So you gotta love to see that, guys. ZETA Global stands out with a solution that suits the most type of marketers. Okay, one thing to note is that the direct revenue mix is actually a really important thing to look at. It's not really prominent within the presentation, but it's something that I really think is important, because when customers are considered direct, they're not using any integration partners to be able to collect revenue. And we can see on their 10Q here, they actually have a whole section talking about the amount of direct platform revenue compared to integrated platform revenue. So when someone is just solely using their data points from 245 million United States citizens and 500 and whatever million total that they have, if they're just using ZETA's platform alone, that's about 73% of the time. 27% of the time, they need to integrate into other platforms to be able to gather the data they need to be able to create these campaigns for their customers. So let's do an example. Let's say a customer has $1 million budget and they come to ZETA, and ZETA needs to, to be able to get that campaign out. They also have to work with maybe Salesforce to pull data and give Salesforce with their marketing cloud potentially some of that revenue. Or potentially there's Snowflake, which we know Snowflake is a utilization-based service as well. So maybe they need to use Snowflake to be able to pull data. And so whenever they have to give part of the pie to another platform, that's when you're going to see their revenues here. You don't want to see this number going up. You want it to be seeing it going down. You want the direct platform to be going up in the long run. And in the footnote, you can see here they have a little footnote of 8. So I did go down and check the appendix below. I'm sorry if I just gave you guys some whiplash. But the 8 says, direct platform revenue mix, percentage of revenue generated by the ZMP, which is their marketing platform, comprised of subscription software and utilization fees generated by channels owned and operated by ZETA, resulting in stronger operating leverage. So that's the key, is you want direct revenue because that gives you more operating leverage. Now, a couple other things is stock-based compensation. I want to see stock-based compensation continue to guide down. They actually have guided it to in fiscal year 2025 and 2026 to be substantially lower. And you can see currently they're declining as both an expense and a percentage of revenue here in this chart here. And then we can also see here is where they're expecting that reduction. And you can tell that in 2024, it was pretty bad. I mean, this was one of the big sticking points for a lot of investors, is what the heck's happening with dilution. But remember, guys, a large chunk of this was because they did a follow-on offering, which is basically like a secondary IPO, if you want to think of it that way, where they're offering shares to investors to be able to gather money. And they use that mostly to acquire live intent. So live intent has been very successful so far. It gave them a lot more data for intent data, which is obviously very necessary in today's world of marketing. In 2025 and 2026, we do see the target total dilution of 4 to 6%. And then in 2026, you're going to see 3 to 4%. So we want to continue to see stock-based compensation go down. Now, those are the 3 things I think that are the most important, guys, for ZETA. Is stock-based comp decreasing. We want to see the net retention rate on average revenue per unit. We want that to be increasing. And then we want to see the direct platform versus integrated platform revenue to be also increasing. So we want direct to have more than the integrated. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit of news here as well, guys. ZETA actually announced that for their ZETA Live, which is a conference that they hold every single year. This is the 5th year they've done it. Last year, the keynote speaker was Shaquille O'Neal. This year, they have Tom Brady. And not only do they have Tom Brady, they have Serena Williams. So this is, I think, really good, guys, because these conferences are ways for companies to be able to show their customers what they're doing, show their roadmap, show their new products. They're using generative AI, which is expanding every year. It's going to be changing all the time. And so not only that, they also have workshops, they have different events going on, they have these keynote speakers. Those all attract people to come, marketers across the world of all these Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies to be able to come to ZETA's events. And so I don't see this as a bad thing, but in the community, guys, there are, I actually tweeted, some ex-investors are fuming over ZETA's wasteful spending by bringing Tom Brady and Serena Williams as keynotes. So there's some people out there that are really not happy with this. Like, let's call a spade a spade. They're not, they think it's wasteful spending. Guys, I don't think this is wasteful spending at all. I think we should let them market their own business. They are marketers for, at the end of the day. Bringing Tom Brady and Serena Williams is a way to open some eyeballs and get more clients to come to the event. ZETA knows ROI marketing better than any of us do. That actually got 2,000 views and quite a bit of likes. If you guys aren't following me on X, I'd highly recommend doing that. I do tweet out whenever I'm going to be buying, selling positions or releasing videos and whatnot. So it's a way to engage with me a little bit more. Now, I also wanted to talk about this because not only am I bullish on ZETA live, but also of course the company is. If they're willing to invest this type of money, and you see here with David Steinberg, the CEO, is saying ZETA Live isn't just a conference; it's a catalyst for the next frontier of marketing. He said this is invite only. This invite only in-person experience offers visionary keynotes, interactive workshops, and deep dives on ZETA's latest breakthroughs. So guys, if they're inviting, it's invite only. If they're inviting Tom Brady and Serena to talk, who else do you think they're inviting? They're inviting insane, marketers across the world. Just to take a look at last year, for example, they had a ton of people. MasterCard, McDonald's, NBA, NBC Universal, Wells Fargo, Yahoo, and some other big names. I actually went through on YouTube just to be able to show you guys a little bit more. They have some, NBA, Domino's Pizza, Chief Digital Officer. They have partners like Amazon Web Services, Henry Syed, who's one of their partners that they are spending money with. So it's not just their customers, it's also their partners. Then you have people like the NBC CMO, but also you have people like the X CEO right here, Linda, not sure how to say her last name, but she is the CEO of X, which they're probably advertising quite a bit on X as well, guys. Then you have, some other people, Intel, Kellogg, MoonPay, MasterCard. I mean, there's a ton of names. I can go on and on and on. But the point is, for these events, it's a great way to get people involved and more engaged within ZETA. It's a great way to show people, and hey, in 2025, 2026, here's what we're releasing. For those that don't know, ZETA has its own large language model called Zoe that's built in within their cloud marketing platform so that marketers can instantly ask Zoe questions like, hey, can you give me some data on this last campaign? Who did it best target? Where did most of the revenue come from? And instantly, just like ChatGPT or other large language models, you're going to be able to get answers very quickly. And so it's basically, imagine like you're a chief marketing officer and you have an assistant and you get instant replies from that assistant instead of having to wait hours or days or weeks to be able to get data. I think it's very important, guys. So one other thing, and the last bit of news here, is that ZETA also appointed a new president of ZETA Data and AI Labs. Guys, AI is the topic here. ZETA is notorious for AI. They've been doing this since like 2016. The CTO has been filing patents for over 10 years for AI. And I'm sure a lot of us, weren't even thinking about AI 10 years ago. ZETA certainly was. And this guy is a former Meta and Microsoft senior leader. So he is now joining the ZETA team. Very bullish about this, guys, because when you're a guy with that much experience coming over to ZETA, it means you believe in the product, but it also means ZETA is still, willing to spend money to make money. And I love that as a company that's growing very quickly. And so that's about it, guys. I really, really appreciate the time today. And for those that maybe have noticed or haven't noticed, I did just reach 5,000 subscribers or 500 subscribers. I just started this channel about a month ago. And I have invested in a new camera. So this camera you see is a lot better than my old one. And I also am going to be getting a new microphone that's actually in the mail. I just haven't received it yet. But I really appreciate the support, all the kind comments. And I really look forward to doing this for a very long time. So if you're interested in ZETA or other companies, I also follow companies, not just ZETA. I have a big portfolio, so I do look forward to doing other videos. But leave a comment below if you enjoyed this. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much.